Who's ready to X up in here? Poison-free lifestyle, straight edge. That's me, baby. Your boy, Matt Diazable, straight edge, now and forever. What's up, everyone? It's me, Matt Diazable. I do music reviews. Thanks for finding me. Thanks for coming on back. You the best. I appreciate it. Yeah. Today, the latest EP I am checking out is from a band called Firestarter with their EP called Still Holding On. If you're unfamiliar with Firestarter, they are a Los Angeles-based straight edge youth crew style hardcore band that's been around since about 2019. They've moved around on a few labels and everything, but right now they are currently on a label called Hard Lore Records. They're known for, being a big podcast in the hardcore and metal community, essentially. And this band is very reminiscent of like 90s and 80s style hardcore music, if that's what you're into, or if you're unfamiliar, that's where you're probably going to get some similarities when you listen to this band, especially if you've heard of Youth of Today, Floor Punch, stuff like that. Particularly like New York style, youth crew style of hardcore. This is what this band is trying to, I wouldn't say emulate, but carry on that tradition of New York style hardcore. And just like I said earlier, Harlow Records, the podcast, that's how I discovered this band. I did a reaction to their first single off of this EP a while back. I'll put that in the link's description. And yeah, I'm ready to talk about this new EP. And with this latest EP, Still Holding On, Firestarter is coming out swinging really hard with this EP. It's a 6-track EP filled with youth crew urgency, thick bass tones, and no frills conviction. They're all about the straight edge lifestyle, baby. It's coming in really lean and mean, and it is proudly wearing its influences on its sleeves, while also showing just enough variation to help stand out amongst the whole hardcore scene and community. And they're really setting the tone with how they're going to be a little bit different from the rest of like their contemporaries with their opening song, Los Angeles Straight Edge. Chunky low-end bass playing with some really punchy riffs and some really deep and funky drums really give the song a very, you could say, a certain bounce to it. You get a good groove to it as you listen to it. It's a very stripped down and direct intro that really tells you exactly what the band is going to do and what they're all about. And then after that intro, you get the song The Distance, which really builds off that intro with sharper and faster riffs, popping drums, and showing how locked in the rhythm section of this band is. And the vocals here feel like they have a real urgency to them, and they're mixed very perfectly in the mix, so it just cuts through and it gets to you very nicely without ever really losing any of the grit that he's bringing. And I would say Firestarter isn't trying to reinvent the wheel here or anything. They are just delivering music here that is going to resonate deep within your heart and everything. And so by the time we get to the song Tear Stained Youth featuring Mike Porter of Floor Punch, the EP really kicks into gear here. The transitions between all these tracks up until this point have been very seamless. And again, the bass is just anchoring everything with a very thick and very driving presence. And Porter's guest feature on this song is probably one of the biggest highlights to this EP. He sounds pissed off and has a lot of conviction to him. His raw delivery just elevates the track, and it's probably one of the most, like I said, one of the most standout moments on this record. And then you got the title track here, Still Holding On, which kind of injects some like crossover thrashy flavor to their style with riffs that bite even harder. And then you get backing vocals that really add an extra layer of sonic texture to the overall experience. And the pacing and the buildup on this song leads to one of the most satisfying breakdowns on this whole EP. And then you get the song So It Goes, and they kind of shift gears a little bit by having some slightly more reverb guitars and deeper, heavier sounding drums. And then you have a guest feature from Brody King, which really adds a lot of weight with his booming and guttural delivery set against a very surprisingly tasteful guitar solo. I would have to say it's probably one of the most adventurous tracks on the EP, and I gotta say, it pays off pretty well. And then the closing song here, What It Meant, really ties everything together very nicely, pushing some really harder riffs here, some twangy accents, and then Colin Young's feature here really adds some very extra nastiness to the overall feel of the song and the EP. And the breakdown on this song is dense and punishing, a very fitting climax to a straight edge anthem that I can see in future like performances and live settings, it's going to be a great live, like, pile on moment for sure when they play this song live. What really makes this EP just kind of click is that it is a very, very cohesive effort from all members of the band. The bass is consistently the star of this band, but the drums are just as sharp. The riffs punch without ever really overcomplicating things. They keep it really simple, and the guest spots from every person really inject enough variety without ever really feeling forced. This is definitely a classic Youth Crew inspired hardcore effort, but it's got a little bit of a modern weight to it. It's simple, effective, and full of conviction. So I would say this EP from Firestarter is still holding on. It's not trying to be flashy because it doesn't need to be. So I would have to simply say it's raw, it's energetic, and it's authentic. It's an EP where, you know, the band just sounds really locked in and they're swinging hard, and it pays off really well. So I would have to give this latest EP from Firestarter a good 8.5 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me who your favorite straight edge band is, what your favorite track is on this EP, some other bands I should check out. And until next time, guys, see you in the pit.